Hello. All right, we are starting a little early. Just waiting for people to pop on. So pop on. Let me get all my peeps on here. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to my page. We're gonna do both. If you're just hopping on, lovely to see you. All right. We're just gonna go with this going live. Alrighty. Hello, hello. I kind of would like a better view. Yeah. Let's find something better for our peeps that are on. I'm gonna put you over here. Okay. There we go. Hi. Some of you had said that you wanted to see this video live, so we're gonna do it two places. We're doing it over here, and we're also doing it here. Okay, so today I'm very excited because today we're getting to do a live watercolor painting in the perspective of limitation. I do not love this. Rotate your phone. We're going to finish this. Pardon me. Well, oh, goodness. All right. So, there we go. There we go, there we go, there we go. All right. There, that's better. Okay, so I'm very excited about this because I've been talking about this for a while now, and we are gonna be doing a live, let me show you an example. So about a week ago, I did a training with you guys on these. How to create beauty out of limitation. The limitation is the circle. The limitation is putting the painting within a shape and then being okay with whatever is there. So in other words, instead of fighting the shape, instead of fighting the limitation, the perceived limitation, we're monopolizing on it and creating something beautiful. So we're gonna be doing something like that in this painting session, but we're gonna be doing it a little differently because we're gonna be doing it with the first letter of your name. Ooh! So what it's gonna look like, declining. Hold on. Let me do not disturb my phone. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be outlining our letter, and then we're going to be painting within the letter, okay? So, I'm gonna put this over here. We're just making it happen. And I'm gonna tip this down so you can see what's going on here. We're gonna be outlining the first letter of our name. Now mine is a K, so I'm gonna be making a K. Okay. So we're going to be painting something within this limitation, within this perceived limitation. I love that I'm using a pen because what that means is this is like bleeding all over the place. So fun. Okay. It's going to be a part of the art itself. Here we go. So you're going to outline on your page a giant version of your first letter of your name, and we're going to start filling in whatever we choose to fill in around this letter. Okay, I'm going to be using a flat brush, and I'm going to be using a smaller flat-tipped brush, and I may occasionally, for a wash, use a larger flat brush as well. In fact, we're going to start with a larger flat brush, because what I want to do is I want to start with a technique. Don't know what the name of it is, don't care, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this large brush and I'm going to start wetting down this surface. So I'm intentionally adding water without color so that we start getting the surface nice and wet. And what's going to happen is as we start putting color down, it is going to flow like water. In other words, we get to surrender to whatever it's going to look like. We're not controlling it. We're not creating something crazy. We're literally just adding color and seeing where it goes. So we're just filling in this K. It may be an A, an M, a W, a T, XYZ. Whatever it is for you, it is perfect. Okay, so we're done with this brush. Now we're going to use this brush. Actually, I take that back. We're going to use this brush. And we are going to start with our blues, because y'all know Katie loves blue. Even though I'm wearing pink, I love blue. We're going to dip our brush in the water one extra time. I want you to watch what happens here. It's just going to go wherever it wants to go. So we're going to try to keep it within this space, but we're just dabbing this color in. This surface is already nice and wet, so it's going to blend naturally. And it's gonna ultimately do what it wants to do. Okay, we're gonna gently bring this blue down, even though we're gonna be losing a lot of the color. Now we're gonna be using our smaller brush. Not our smallest, but our smaller. And we're gonna be taking this blue again, same blue. I think you guys can see here. You guys can't see. All right, we're gonna be just dabbing in a little bit more color here on the top and bringing this down. And as we do this, the wetness of the water is definitely starting to dry and sink in. So just be careful not to over control this space, because the whole point of this class in particular is to let go of control. Ooh, for some of us, this is our favorite. Now, I'm going to practice doing a really fun gradient of color on this, because I love playing with gradients of color. I also love creating imagery within limited spaces. I guess it's because that's how I've lived my life, you know? I literally don't have hands, and I do painting anyway. I walk every day, and I have dramatic knees, ankles, and hips. I don't let it stop me. And so what I like to teach around limitation is that limitation is where your superpower is coming from. Limitation is where you're learning how to move through from an obstacle to the next opportunity. And it's also where your voice comes from, because you learn to have empathy for people who are experiencing limitation, but you're not letting it get to you because you've learned how to overcome it. So I love working with perceived limitation because we have all kinds of stories about it, and it doesn't need to get us out. It doesn't need to take us out of the game. Notice how I'm just bringing in some of this very pigmented blue and just bringing it down the end of this. It's not faded in, it's very rough, and we're just practicing trusting our intuition and putting the color where we feel it gets to go. For some of you, this is a really big opportunity for you to like lean in to where you feel it should go, not where you think it should go. Yeah. So, ooh, I'm loving where this is going. Okay, so now we're going to fade into some greens. And what I love about what's going on with this this K is that we've got some like sky situations going on, and then we're gonna add some hills. Goodness, this must be like special water because this paint is loving this water. Okay, so I am slowly mixing in different greens because I want some variety. You know, the easiest way to make hills look like hills is to just start making little lines and to slowly start filling in those white spaces with different colors of green. So notice how, I don't even know if you guys can see it super well on here, but I'm just filling in all these extra white spaces with some darker green. And that just gives these hills some dynamic. Play with this. Have fun with this. Don't be perfectionist about it. Don't be all stuck in how it should look. Have fun playing with different colors, different shades, different kinds of greens. I'm loving this. Okay. Got to think about what I want at the bottom. I think I want some water. All right, we're gonna bring this around. We're definitely gonna add some more variety to the green, the blue above for sure. But I want to get this mostly complete here. Adding some more of our lighter green. This is more of a yellowish green, so less than intensity, it just changes the dynamic of the color a little bit. So because whenever you use lighter watercolors on top of darker watercolors, really the only thing that it's changing is the shade of it, not the intensity of it. So just remember that. You always want to start with your lighter colors first. And as you practice this and as you get better at it, you're going to learn that more and more. But you want to start with your lighter colors first because your lighter colors are going to, well, they're lighter. And when you add your darker colors, you really can't go back with watercolor. So start with your lighter colors first and build in your darker colors as you go. Because then you can add that dynamic and, you know, you're good to go. Oh, I'm loving this variety. This is fun. All right, mix mixing in that more yellowish green and just adding some dynamic here. Sometimes when it comes to watercolor, it's less about the color differentiation. Like, see how this hill goes up like this and then down and around? It's less about adding more color and more about just taking your brush and letting it stroke that way, because then I feel like the brush and the water just make room for whatever it is that you're creating there. So every time you put your brush over, it displaces your color in a way that can be really great. Okay, I'm liking that. That's fun. I'm gonna add a little bit more color over here to this edge. Having a little bit going on over there. Perfect. I'm going to wrap this around a little. Okay, cool. Ooh, I'm loving this. So, we got our green. Now we have green water. How nice. All right. So, we've got a green situation going on here. Now, I could do a lot of things here. I almost think I want to do like a windmill situation here, but we'll get there. We'll come back. We'll come back around. I'm really more curious about what's going to fill in over here, and I wonder if I get to bring the green down a little bit and do like a pasture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this very like greenish yellow, because this is going to be great to add this more field like situation down here, because again, the places where you're working the land are going to be a little bit drier, and so they're going to be more yellow. And we're actually going to add in some yellowish orange, because why not? Who is watching over here? Mulkey. Hello, Mulkey. Lovely to see you. Glad you are here. We are doing painting class. If you want to jump in and join and play with us, come along for the ride. We're going to get down to our really yellow yellows down at the bottom. And I'm just going to bring this up. So this looks very natural to me because, I've painted quite a bit, but just trust that whatever you put down is what is meant to be there, and you're learning as you go. I dipped into some of this greenish yellow, and I'm just coming in and filling in these white spaces and just kind of blending a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. Blending in again over here. And I'm definitely going to start mixing in a little bit more greens just to complement this transition. Yeah, that's already looking better. Just adding a little bit more of the green. Ooh, loving what's going on here. 116, perfect. Beautiful, loving this. Okay, so now we gotta decide if we're gonna do a windmill. Am I up for the challenge? Of course I am. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pen and we're just gonna, let's make sure this area is dry. Okay, here we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna gently outline what we want going on here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add this down here, and then There are a lot of windmills around here. Okay. Ooh, loving this. Okay, so now we're going to use our tiny, tiny, tiny brush because this is the perfect opportunity to use our tiny brush. Okay, now we're going to dip into, ooh, we got some like white going on over here. Okay, we're going to dip into our dark browns and just tap some of that light out, that color out. And we're just going to add some brown in here. I'm gonna dip into some of my darker, more blackish brown and just dab some into these edges where these black lines are. I'm just adding wherever to give it some texture. You know how like old windmills, you know, like they're not just a beautiful solid shape, like sometimes they're made out of wood, sometimes they're older, so they've got a lot of variety to them. Okay, we're gonna bring in okay. Cool. Okay, we're gonna start there and then we'll gradually move on from there. I'm coming back around with my water and I'm just dabbing some of this in to make it kind of a little bit less woody. Okay, now we're going to tap into our black. Oh, how scary. And we're just going to pull in some color on these edges of the windmills. So not the full thing, but just the edges. Look, like that. Ooh, this is looking awesome. Okay. We're gonna tap into some of this not quite black, but gray. And I'm just gonna run over some of this black, just so that it's a little bit darker. Okay. And I'm also going to mix in some of this grayish black into the center. Okay. Now, what we do next is very important because we don't want this windmill to be solid black. We want it to be, you know, like a lot more interesting than just a solid color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix in our white over here. I don't even know if you could see that. White. And we're going to come in here and just cover this area with some white. And what's naturally going to occur is it's going to make a very light gray because it's mixing in with the black, which is exactly what we want. We didn't want too much color, we just wanted a little bit. So we're just filling in these white spaces with gray. That looks really awesome. Now what we can do is we can dip into our gray over here and we can just pull a little extra color and give some variety here, which is great, but we've put down that foundation of whitish grayish situations over there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my pen and I'm just going to start adding some dynamic here. I'm just gonna start bringing in some detail. And we're gonna just add some X's and just some variety too. I'm just adding a little bit of illustration. Okay. Loving this. Loving this, loving this, loving this. So look at this. This is our painting. This is our painting. What does yours look like? So I want to know what yours looks like based on your letter. If you did this along with us, maybe you did a windmill, maybe you did something completely different. Maybe you're the kind of person that's like, I broke the rules and I just did something different. That is a-okay. Also, always make sure to sign your name. It's like a pet peeve of mine. Voila. At the bottom. Beautiful. Okay. Well, that was our art class today. Hope that you enjoyed. Had a good time painting our name. Our letter, not our name. Hope you had a good time painting with us, and I will see you next time. All right? Bye.